Oh, hi. Oh my goodness. Welcome to July. Happy Monday, everybody. We are doing coffee with Coach today. We are talking about demand. Yeah, I'm talking about demand in your business, demand in your friendships. Like, are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling disconnected? And demand inside of love in all of your relationships. This is a big one. The world's feeling a little bit wobbly. Yeah, we know this. It's been going on for months and it's still here. So the world is feeling wobbly. People are feeling disconnected. And I get from business owners every single day, how the hell am I supposed to sell when the world feels like this? Today, we are going to break it down. We are going to be talking about demand. So as you grab your coffee, I'm going to pull us an angel card. Let's do this thing, right? Here we go. I always love doing this if I can get it. What do we got? That's about right. Okay. For the month of July, beautiful humans, we have the card. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Do you see that? It says play. Can you see her? Is she the cutest? Playing in the streams. I love it. Okay. Beloved one, it is time to set aside work for a while. Don't worry, we will oversee your responsibilities to their completion. Playfulness, gaiety, and laughter will lift your energy so that you will return to work with a renewed perspective and heightened energy. Are you ready for this? I am so ready for this. Let's go. All right. So let me grab my outline for today because, yes, I actually wrote an outline, you guys. I love you so, so much that, yes, I do. I do beautiful things for you. All right. Let's talk about demand. We hear about demand all the time, right? Supply and demand, like there's got to be a demand for what you do. And that's all true, right? I mean, it's really great if you want to sell a class on how to juggle BBs with grease boxing gloves, but there's probably not a high demand for that. I don't know where that just came from, but there's probably not a high demand for that. Yeah. But here's the deal. If you have built a business on your experience, your expertise, and your talents, there's a demand for it. How do I know that? How can I say that with such confidence? Because you would not have been given those experiences, that expertise, and those talents if they weren't yours to use. You were not given them so that you could do them for free or give those gifts and talents away for free and then hate your day job. That's how I know they're yours. They're yours to create a livelihood with. They're not yours accidentally. So that's why I can say that with such a confidence. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, you guys. It's just truth. All right. So I'm going to say it like this. If you feel like you are falling flat right now, like let's say in your business, in your life, your health, your money, it's just all falling flat. Like there isn't the demand that you want for your own life, for your own energy, for your talents, all of it. I'm going to say that it's not so much the demand that's missing, it's your visibility that is missing. It's trust. It's that leadership energy. You know, there are people like, you know who they are. You just want to be around them. Like, you just love being around them in any way, shape, or form, right? You're like, oh, they're going to be at that party. I got to go. Like, you just love being around them. That level of visibility. That is what causes demand. That's why you go to the party to hang out with that person. That's why when that person says, let's get coffee, you're like, yes. That's why when that business says, hey, we've got this thing, you go, I want it because I know what you produce, right? That level of energy. That's what we're looking for when I'm talking to you about demand. And I want to show you that starting today, I want to flip your perspective starting right now on what's possible for you. There are dozens, maybe even hundreds of people waiting for you to say what you do. They're waiting for you to text them and start a friendship or a relationship or a vacation plan or whatever. They're waiting for you. And sometimes it can feel like, why does it have to be me? Because you're the one watching this video. So that's why it has to be you. And you know it. You just felt that, didn't you? Right? Like, yeah, that just goes in. You're like, oh, it is me. It is me. Oh my God. Yeah. And step into that. Own it. It's okay. All right. I see you guys are popping in. As you come in, say hi. So I can welcome you. All right. So we're going to go a little bit beyond the strategy today. And we're going to talk about the energetic truth behind buying decisions, and how you can step into being the kind of person that people can't wait to buy from, can't wait to say yes to, right? And that's so important. If you're going to survive in today's world, you've got to have that energy. And it's not about tips and tricks, right? Go back and see May's Coffee with Coach. It's about your authenticity. It's about how well you're landing. And I even hate to use the word authenticity because it feels inauthentic now because everybody says it. Let me rephrase it. You just got to show up as you. And you've got to trust that that alone creates the demand. And if you can't trust that, yowza, that's really where the issue is. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. If something in this video calls to you, if something hits in a certain way, I want you to reach out. Okay? Because it's your time to work with me too. That's why you're feeling that energy hit the way that it is, right? You wouldn't be watching this video. You wouldn't have accidentally found this video or done this or shown up here if it wasn't your time. Yeah? You know. You know. I felt somebody just go, "Ooh, it is my time." Okay. So there isn't a demand crisis right now. I know it doesn't feel like that. I really do. Right now, it feels like, at least what I'm hearing, what I'm experiencing, what I'm hearing from my colleagues, and what I'm hearing from clients is it feels like there's a demand crisis. Like nobody wants anything right now. Everybody's freaking out. Not really. Not really. Yes, people are freaking out. Sorry, I don't mean to minimize that. Yes, people are freaking out. And life is still happening. And what you're here to offer is still in demand. Yeah. Like I'm still buying cat food. Cat still needs food, right? Still going grocery shopping. Still buying sunblock, of course. Right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like life is still happening. There is still demand. It's just whether or not you trust that. That's actually the issue. The issue isn't whether or not people are looking for you. The issue is whether or not you're going to step into the world of visibility so people can demand from you what they need. Right? Completely different flip on the perspective of what's happening. Yeah. Okay. All right. So people are still spending, specifically those of us that work inside of transformation and paradigm shifts, people are still looking for that. And in fact, they're looking for it on a deeper level than they ever have before. So now's the time to talk about your results. What do you do for people? Right. And I love always talking about, the woman who made the quilt for my son out of his soccer jerseys. I love that quilt. Every time I go into his room, I'm like, oh, I love that quilt. Right. Because his jerseys aren't slammed in some corner or in some bag in the basement or in the attic or whatever. Right. They're actually out on his bed and it's useful. I love that. That to me is a transformation. Right. It cleaned out my house and there's something beautiful to show for it. I'm going to assert that there's a demand for what you do that's just like that. And it doesn't even matter what you're offering. Does that make sense? It doesn't even matter. This is the part that I really want you to get this summer. The packaging doesn't even matter. The transformation matters. People are looking for ways to shift their own perspectives on life. And when I walk in and see those jerseys in that quilt, I want to hug it. I just like that transforms that moment for me. It's beautiful, and he's proud of it too. It's still on the end of his bed, right? It's in college now, right? It doesn't even matter anymore. It's still on the end of his bed. Why? Because it provides joy. It causes a transformation in that moment from like meh to, oh my God, right? That spark of like, oh, wow, that's so cool. That's what we want to cause for people. And there is a demand for that. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There absolutely is. Yep. Now, if your people aren't showing up, like let's say right now you're having an experience of like it's gotten a little dry or like you have seen things slow down. I want you to look at where you've dimmed your own light. Ugh, I know. I actually was meeting with my millionaire mamas. there's some of us who love to meet. We meet once a month and we really dive into this. And we were all talking about this in our last monthly meeting of just this feeling of being afraid to truly shine right now. And it's a real fear. I don't want to minimize that. I don't want to act like that's not happening. It is happening. But you don't have to dim your light just because the world feels wobbly. And in fact, the brighter you shine right now, the more people will be attracted to you. Now, that's not even why you should do it. You should do it so you see you shine brightly. So you see yourself shine in a moment when people need you. That is so important for our psyches. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to share that with you right out of the gate. And I also want you to look at wherever you're being inconsistent. Wherever you're being inconsistent or unclear, now's the time to clean that up. Now's the time to actually dive in. I want to talk to you about what I use it as a framework for demand, how we actually create that. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but I want you to understand how important your own clarity is. Yeah, if you're not on my newsletter list, send us a note. We will get you on there, but that's something I share in the newsletter often is the importance of clarity and how you can reach it, how you can achieve clarity in your own message so people know what they are looking for has been found in you. Let me rephrase that so that they know they've found in you what they've been looking for. Much better. Okay. Sorry, I have a little summer tickle. I know. All right. So in May, when I talked about Content 2.0, what I want to share with you is if you are noticing people are scrolling past your content, they're not opening your newsletters, whatever's happening, what's missing is your own truth, your own light. Like I said, check where you're dimming and check where you're not showing up. And it's okay to talk about the fact that it's hard to show up right now because that's true. So talk about the truth of that. People will know it. They will know in 2 seconds whether or not you're telling the truth. Yeah? Okay. So the biggest missing piece, right? When I really dive into the framework of demand, the biggest missing piece for most people is the alignment between your offer, your message, and the truth in your own voice. This last piece, in case you haven't noticed, this month's theme is going to be truth, honesty, shining, right? So this last piece of truth is everything. It's probably 90% of any sale, really. Because don't you know? Don't you know when someone's not showing up telling the truth? You know when they're using slimy tactics from the 90s. You're like, I see you, right? You know in 2 seconds. That's why the truth is so dang important. You've got to show up with the truth. You've got to show up and align your message with your offers for sure. But that alignment has to come from within you, right? You've got to speak your own truth. If what you're doing is no longer fun for you, people will know. If what you're doing doesn't align with where you are now, you need to rework it because people will know, right? Because remember that 90% is the truth of what you're sharing. Yeah. It's the truth of it. It is the basis by which they will make decisions because they can feel it. They don't even know it, you guys. That's the coolest part. Is like people aren't sitting there going, I feel the truth. That's not, that's not what's happening, right? You got to really dive in. Sorry, hairs. Yeah, you got to really dive in to you and make sure what you're presenting is true. Yeah. Okay. So grab your pens, beautiful humans. Um, before we dive into this, just really quickly, I want to let you know I did this with somebody just last week. We went through what I'm about to tell you about what demand actually is. And she started to rewrite her offers and shift them. And feel free to use ChatGPT. You can use, I love StarPath. You can use Claude. It doesn't matter. Like once you know what you want to say, run it through them and say, how is this clear? Does this ring true? Does this sound like me? Like you can use those tools. You can send it to your favorite clients or customers and be like, how does this feel to you? Like get in there, figure it out. And this is what I did with one of my one-on-one clients last week. We really dove deep into one of her offers that she really has always wanted to do. And she's just never launched it. She got too scared. She was just too scared to do it, which boy, can't we all relate to that? Like, oh my God, this is my baby. If I put it out and try hard and it fails, I'm a loser, right? Like, don't we all know that feeling? It's like, oh my God, right? So we worked through that part. She's ready to do it. And I want you to know she had 6 people sign up. This is a 5-figure purchase. She had 6 people sign up because she had the courage to actually be visible and show up and do what she needed to do. Do you get that? Like that is a massive swing in a bottom line because she tapped into her own truth. Now, does it take courage? You bet. But in order for there to be demand, people have to know what you do. Right? I know that's you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? Right. But we all hide behind that, like, but it's scary. But what if they don't like all those things? We can really hide behind that. And now is the time for you to tap into your inner truth, your inner courage, and start to create demand for what you do. Yeah, because you are here to do this thing. Okay, so here is the framework for creating demand. And I'll be honest, when I was starting my business, oh my God, 17 years ago, I can't believe it's been that long. 17 years ago, I had hired a brand new business coach for me. She wasn't brand new to her, but to me, right? And she said, you got to create demand. You got to create demand. And she never told me how to do that or what that meant. I was like, what? What does that even mean? I was so frustrated and I would say it constantly. I don't know what that means. So I came up with this framework because I hate not knowing. And you do have to create demand for what you're offering. Yeah. Okay. So here is the framework for demand. So demand, get your pen. Demand equals clarity plus energy, your energy plus visibility. Clarity plus energy plus visibility. Now, do you need to have something to offer? Yes. I hope that goes without saying. Like you don't just create demand for nothing, right? Like you can create demand if you want to have a great party, but the demand for that is you're going to come and have a good time, right? Like we're all going to get to spend time together. You're creating that demand. When we're talking about in business, the offer has to be there, right? Like people are like, oh, Sarah, I haven't made money. I haven't done it. I'm like, how many times have you offered it this week? None. Well, yeah. That makes it hard, right? But if we're looking at clarity plus energy plus visibility, and your truth is holding all of that together, the offer just naturally falls out, right? It just does. It's just right there for people to go, yes. It's just like the party and creating demand for the party. The party is the offer. Like RSVP, that's the offer. Yeah. So we've been doing this all of our lives. Oh my God, you've got to read this book. It's so good. You hand it to them. That's the offer. And we tend to get a little crunchy or weird when the offer is in exchange for finances. And that tends to be where people get a little loopy. Yeah. So just be patient with yourself as you work through that, but you can work through that part. That's not that hard. You're going to get through the other side of that. All right. So let's break this down even more. So clarity, first and foremost, is in your ability to see the value. You have to see the value. You have to be clear that there is value or it's not clear to the other person. Okay. I'll say that again. You have to be clear on the value or it won't be clear to anyone else. Okay. But the other parts of clarity, what you do, who you do it for, and why they need it right now. What you do, who you do it for, and why they need it right now. And if you can get into that and you're crystal clear on that and you're crystal clear about the value of that, you're going to start to create demand. Okay. So let's talk about energy. Are you selling from conviction or are you selling from confusion or desperation or fear or confidence? What is the energy that you are infusing into your clarity? What is the energy somebody feels when they bump into you? I will tell you, like the way I show up on video, which I hope you enjoy, right? Or the way I show up when I'm teaching classes or for my one-on-one clients or inside the Abundance Academy, like I work on that. That's not an accident. I don't stumble into it and be like, well, I guess I've done this before. It's fine. No, there's always an intentional shift in my own energy. If I've had a bad day, right, or had a fight with my kids, or I am upset about what's happening in the world, which has been happening more and more, I get really upset. I care so much. I can get really messed up about it. But then I've got to show up and do my job on the planet. I've got to show up and keep my agreement with the universe to transform as many people's relationship to money as I can. So I've got to manage my energy. That is one of the ways you create demand is you've got to manage your own energy and you can come up with your own ways to do that, right? I journal every day. I meditate every day. There's a candle lit in my office right now that I love, right? Like I do all of those things to manage my energy. So when I show up for you, I show up for you. And that energy matters. All right. So we've got clarity and now we've got energy. And now we've got visibility. And this is again where Content 2.0 is coming in. Are you posting to post or are you posting to express something? Are you posting to manipulate or are you posting to express something? Are you posting because you think you're supposed to or are you posting to express something? Are you posting to share? Are you posting to transform? Are you posting to be visible for the sake of being visible? Because people cannot find you. You cannot create demand unless you are visible. Yeah? Is this making sense? Okay, I hope so. So the framework for demand, yeah, clarity, energy, visibility. And then inside those, you've got to do the work to make sure you are clear. You've got to do the work to manage your energy. And you've got to do the work that anytime you share or post or choose to be visible, it's real. It's not something you just spit out, right? And right now, with the use of AI, right? Like can literally say, "Hey, write me 5 posts every Monday," and it will, but is that you expressing? Is your energy infused into those posts, into that information, into that copy? Or are we just machines talking to machines? Something important to consider. Okay, so I want to do a real time alignment check in with you really quickly. So, again, keep your pen out. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. And I'm dead serious. I want you to really think about it just for a hot second. Okay. We're just going to do this quick check in. Are you crystal clear? Are you crystal clear on how your work changes people's lives, either emotionally? Actually, I'm not going to say either emotionally and practically. Are you crystal clear on how your work impacts people, how it changes their lives emotionally and practically? What changes for people when they're in your presence, when they learn from you, when they buy from you? What's happening for them? Do you know? You've got to know what that is. And if you don't, I want you to take a second right now. If you're watching this on replay, just pause for 2 seconds and write out, what is that change? What is that transformation? How does it impact them emotionally and practically? Right? So I just shared with you about my client, right? So emotionally, she got over the fear of being visible, right? She got over that fear of disappointment, that fear that, she wouldn't get the results she wanted, that fear of unmet expectations. She worked through that emotionally and practically. She moved her bottom line by tens of thousands of dollars, right? Practically and emotionally, crystal clear. Okay. Now, this one's tougher. Okay. Are you saying what you really believe or the thing that you think will be safest to say? Rude. I know. Feel that, right? Are you saying, are you sharing, are you presenting what you truly believe or are you sharing what's safe? Oh, this one, right? Yeah, people have been commenting on the shift in my posts as well on Instagram, like what I've been sharing in stories, how I've been talking about things, because it's true. It's how I feel. This is actually where I am on the planet, and I'm not going to hide it. Right. And that shift comes from me checking in on what I'm actually expressing. Is this real? Is this my energy? Right. And that means I have to take the energy coming in from the world and actually filter it, manage my own, and then decide what to share. Right. And is it real for me? Is it true? Does it actually matter to me? And you've got to know the answers to those. Yeah. Okay. Finally, this is a fun one. Are you showing up every week with this energy? I am the woman for this. I'll say that again. Are you showing up every week with the energy? I'm the woman for this. I am the exact human for this job. Are you showing up with that energy? Are you tiptoeing? Are you being a little shy? Are you ready? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's time. We need you. Don't dim right now. Show up with the energy. I'm the perfect human for this job. The perfect human for this job. Yeah. Really want to check in with yourself. That's part of managing your energy. And like I said at the very beginning of this video, right? Like, you wouldn't have the talents, experience, and expertise you have if they weren't yours to have. If universe, God, divine, however you believe, right, didn't want you to use it, you wouldn't have it. Right. And that knowledge, the truth of that allows you to show up and say, I'm the person for this job. I'm the one for this job. And that power is so important. That energy is so critical for you. Make sense? Good. Okay. All right. Next up. Okay. Ah. Okay. There's a magic in all of this that is not taught in marketing. And as so many people are now outsourcing their marketing to AI, which is great, save yourself time, do it, do it, do it, but then go back in and infuse your energy to it or it will fall flat. That's a promise, right? These machines are freaking amazing. They're so wonderful. They're saving us so much time and energy. Yes, it's here. It's not going anywhere. But I will tell you, it will not cause demand if it doesn't come from you. So you can teach AI how to use you, right? How to use your voice, how to use your brain, how you think about things. You can say, infuse it with the energy of I'm the person for this job. You can do all of that and by all means do, and then still go back. Because while this is an extraordinary tool for all of us to be using, your energy still must be there. Because if it's not, no one will care. And like I said, pretty soon we're just going to have machines talking to machines, and that doesn't cause transformation. It causes data, causes content, but that's not the same thing. You have to be present or it will fall flat. And I just want to make sure that's really clear because I'm seeing it out there and I can tell in 2 seconds who's using AI and who isn't. And it's going to get better. It's going to get better and better and better, but it still won't be you, right? We can train these machines like crazy, but it still won't be you. And I want you to be very, very aware of that. You could still use 90% of what it produces for you, but you've got to go in and infuse your I'm the person for this job energy into it. You've got to infuse your own clarity. You've got to infuse your own confidence and your own courage into what you're sharing, and that it's actually something you want to express. You're not doing it to check the box that day because nobody cares. If that's how you're going to run your marketing through AI, just to check boxes, no one's going to care. And you will see that that will absolutely be reflected in your numbers. Yeah. Okay. All right. So one other thing I want to talk about right before we wrap up today is that in order to create demand and meet that demand, you've got to know what the desires are of your people. Okay. So we've been talking about you managing you throughout this, right? You getting clear. But there's one more piece to this, and that is what is your person going through right now? Where is your person right now? And what do they need? Right now, they might be freaking out, right? Speak to that. What do they want? Do they want to feel calm? Do they want an answer? Do they just want to talk to somebody about it? You've got to know that because in order to create demand and then meet that demand, you've got to know what it is. You've got to know what their desires are. You've got to know right now, in this moment, what is your ideal person saying to themselves in their head? Right now. Think about it for 1 sec. What is going on for your ideal person right this minute? That's where you create. That's how you get demand to increase. You stay in that moment with them. You get clear on how you help that moment, and then you talk about it. And inside of that, you can infuse what you're going through or what you want to share about that or why you know that what you're talking about can make such a big difference, right? Both emotionally and practically. Yeah. Okay. Finally. Here's what I want to say before we wrap up today. There's so much noise out there right now, and people don't need more noise. They need you. One of the reasons the demand, you might be having the impression demand is falling, is because everybody sounds the same now. Everybody's using the same tools. Everybody sounds the same, and it's just noise. You had that. I'm sure you've had that. You're like, oh dear God, this post again. And it's like a totally different person, but it's the same, well, right? We all got to watch out for that because it's really easy to check the box and just produce, like I just said. But I really want you to understand it's noisy out there. And the best way to cut through that noise is to show up as you and to do the work that we've talked about in today's video. Do it for real. Do it deeply, do it honestly, and do it for real. And don't share unless you're actually sharing. Yeah. All right, listen to me. If what we have talked about today has landed with you, if you're feeling something, if it just hit a tiny bit differently, we're going to put a link for you to apply to be in the Abundance Academy with me, where we talk about not just your financials. We do all of that. We talk about your strategy. We talk about your net worth. We talk about your relationship to money. We talk about abundance in all of those ways. But there is so much more to living an abundant life as you're running a business. And 90% of your fulfillment, 90% of your success is what's happening between your ears. And you need to be around people who get that, who know that, and who understand what's happening in the world right now and how we're going to navigate this as a tribe. Yeah. So if this is calling to you, I want you to click the link that will be in the description to apply to become one of the extraordinary humans who's inside the Abundance Academy. And we're going to knock your world to the next level. Yeah. All right. Happy July. I will see you guys in August. Bye.